Hello, hello everyone. Welcome in this new masterclass about Kubernetes. Just to introduce myself very quickly, I'm Maxence. I'm in charge of the startup program communication and event officer. So I'm in charge also about this masterclass. And I'll say welcome for our startups, for new startups, for everyone. We're very happy to have you today. I have two amazing speakers with me for this masterclass. We have Joanna, which is a startup relationist in Europe, and Alexandre, which is a PMM for Kubernetes. Just before to start this masterclass, a few words about the settings. You have the chat tab on the right if you want to send something. Next to on the left, you have the question tab. You can ask all the questions that you want, and we will answer at the end of the presentation. Also, you have a poll, so you will have a question that you can answer during the presentation. And I think for the settings, it's okay. Maybe just I will introduce a little bit what is the context for the startup about this masterclass. So we have one speaker which is speaking about the topics. It can be very useful, interesting for startups. So as I already said, today it will be about Kubernetes. So hello, Joanna. Hello, Alexander. Thank you to be here with us. Maybe we can start. So Joanna, I'll let
Yes.
you
So
begin.
if Alexander could show my slide, it would be perfect. Okay, cool. I will be here with you only for a few minutes. I know not all of you already knows or are part of our startup program, so I just wanted to let you know that Scaleway is very serious about serving startups and making sure they have the best infrastructure. Today, you will learn a little bit more about our offer with the Kubernetes and in general what this technology can do for you. But I also wanted to let you know that we have a startup program where we actively support founders with, of course, cloud vouchers. You can get up to 42,000 in cloud vouchers, but we also offer one-to-one consultation of solution architects. We have amazing community of startups and partners. We have online events like this masterclass. We sometimes do also offline events. We have perks from our partners with total value of more than 250K of euros. And just to make sure that that is clear, we don't ask for equity. We don't charge any fees. We have a few programs dedicated to different stages of growth for your startups. Yeah, and if we can take another slide. Thank you. So you can learn more on our website, and if you're interested in applying, here is a link. We'll also share it with you after the webinar. Thank you, and I leave the stage for the main content of today.
Yeah, you are finished, Joanna? I moved the slide,
Yes.
but yeah, sorry. Okay, hello. So my name again, Alexander. I'm very happy to be here today to present you Kubernetes for startup, how it can help you to grow your business, to be scalable, to go to the next step, to help you succeed. So I see some people of you, quite many. Don't be shy. I see like in chat is very quiet. Don't feel free to say hello, say something interactive, because otherwise I'm alone in front of my computer. It could be lonely. Don't feel free to say if like you already know Kubernetes or not. If you are a tech guy, yeah, I see. Okay, it's getting started. Okay, great, good vibe. Yeah, if you are a tech guy or not, if yeah, you know Kubernetes. So we go through different things today. The concept, of course, we need to know what it is. The key features, the use case on the benefits, on how you can do Kubernetes at Scaleway. And we end the session with a Q&A session. We have the chance at the end as well to have a solution architect with us, Diana Zoom. She can answer the most technical question. Myself, I'm a product marketing. I know some things, a lot of things about Kubernetes, but I could be limited. Today it's an entry-level talk, so we'll do only just see the concept, and if you want to deep dive, it's possible as well, but maybe not today. So let's get started. Concept of Kubernetes, or Kubernetes concept. Kubernetes is actually an open source software for container orchestration, for automating software scaling and management. It was made by Google a couple of years ago. Now it's supported by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. It's fully open source, and you have many people around the world contributing to this software. And it's very well known. I'm sure you already know some stuff about it. The good things about that is automating, scaling, monitoring, and management. But first, we need to understand what is a container actually, because it orchestrates containers. And containers, it comes from a story, quite known as well. When you develop an application, you do it on your computer. And very often, when you go into production, when you run it on your server or on another machine, it doesn't work. It's very simple. It misses some dependencies, or you don't have exactly the same libraries. So there is some troubles. And containerization is the answer of that. Docker made it popular. And a container is actually a package that includes everything you need to run an application: the code, the runtime, the system tool and the libraries, the settings. So actually, that is an abstraction of the system, and you can run on every compute resources. So it's make it the things very light in comparison with the bare metal servers when it's in terms of administration. And you tend to have many of them. So that's why you need a tool to orchestrate this container. And that's why Kubernetes came into action. So now we have a little overview of how it works and how it is a Kubernetes architecture. We have our end user, and we want to address them, our application, our service, thanks to our container. First, we need a place to store our container. We have our container registry. That's the place where you store your image. On my Kubernetes environment, my Kubernetes cluster will be able to pull this image thanks to my control plane. My control plane is actually the brain of my Kubernetes cluster. We call it sometimes a master node, or you can even under the name of API server. It's the orchestration tool that do the magic of Kubernetes. So I need a place to put my container, to place them. I will rely on underlying instances. We are in the cloud. I call them instances, but it could be a bare metal server. It could be any compute resources. Kubernetes can be deployed almost everywhere. So on my underlying instances, actually, just the support, and I have an abstraction layer called the node for each compute resources. And here I have 3 nodes. And on my nodes, I have my pod. The pod, another concept, this is the smallest unit inside Kubernetes. One pod could have several containers. So here we go. I find my containers. Usually people tend to say the shortcut, but we could say that one pod equal one container. But it's really a shortcut, and you can have several pod on one container. The contrary, several container on one pod. Yeah, so yeah, here we are. But now I need to expose them to my end user, how they can reach it. So that's where come into action a load balancer in front of my node, in front of my pod. It will be able to balance the network to my nodes. It's just a network load balancer. We're just doing the balancing, the simple balancing, and Kubernetes will do the routing. It's stuff. And the load balancer is still managed by the control plane. If we need it, if it need to be replaced, the control plane run it. Then we have a load balancer. We are able to have a DNS resolution and the domain name, and our user is able to have access to our containerized application thanks to Kubernetes. Other important things, Kubernetes is an ephemeral environment. It changes, it's moving. So we need to have a persistent way to store my data. So I need to attach some block storage. It's at my persistent volume. Around that, I can connect my environment to some object storage, some buckets, or some database to have a complete ecosystem around my Kubernetes environment. So that's for the overview. Is that clear so far? I have some question? No, I think it's okay. So now we know how it looks like, how it works approximately between the components. We'll see the key features, what you could do with that. Thanks to Kubernetes, you can have orchestration, automate your deployment, scaling easily. So, I mean, automate all the way your application run together. We have secondly auto-healing. When something is not going well, when you have a failure on the pod or on the node, then automatically it could be replaced. On auto-scaling, when you have more traffic to your cluster or to your pod on node, then Kubernetes will be able to spawn new pods or not. We'll have some overview of that into details right now. How, for example, orchestration works. Here I have a Kubernetes cluster with several pods, several nodes. So I have 3 nodes, and I have some pods on it. This is a small box are my pods. Each color represents actually a service. So here I have 3 different services, and each service could be have several pods or not. I have the blue, it depends, you see purple or black, and the last one yellow. It's not very clear, but yeah. So I have different services. It could be, we could say it's a front end on the back end, or maybe an AI model on the last one. So each have a different function. Let's say we don't define really. But the thing is, right now, I have one node is not working. It has nothing on it. On my control plane, we'll do the orchestration. We'll balance actually the workload, the pods between my different nodes. So there is no nodes doing nothing. Another thing is auto-healing. I still have my 3 nodes, but I have one pod which are failing. He's not responding anymore. Maybe he's stuck because he has lack of memory, because it's maybe it's old Windows Vista. It doesn't answer anymore. So I need to replace it, and automatically Kubernetes will kill it and replace in a new pod. In a new node, sorry, but I don't have any downtime on this service. So that's the great thing with this automation. You have the node auto-healing, the same stuff, but with on a node level, so on the compute level. So, for example, here I have my node number 2 with failing. Is not answering anymore. So I have several pods who are under trouble. What will Kubernetes do? It will kill it and respawn the pod on other nodes, and try to respawn the node number 2 in between. So we'll see everything is automated. The last key features is auto-scaling. Auto-scaling is when you have more workload, more people asking to your application or to your services, so you need to scale. Yeah, so basically, Kubernetes will spawn new pods to answer properly to the demand. The same stuff happened to the node level, so to the resource level. If you see here right now, all my nodes are full. I don't have some space. All the resources, the compute resources are used by the pods. So what Kubernetes will do, will spawn a new node and balance the workload between the pods, between the nodes. So I have no bottleneck, no chance to have a failing node again, so because they are lightened, and everything is well balanced. So that's the magic of Kubernetes, and you have everything is automated. You decide a state you want to have, you put some limits, and then you can run your application very conveniently. So that was the main features. There is other one. You can choose, for example, the version you would like to run. You can automate that or not if you are comfortable to run on a particular version. But the good thing is to be always at the latest. You can choose some components, so you can tune your Kubernetes. There is a component like the runtimes, the network interface, or the storage interface. You can choose, there is different plugin available, and you can choose the one you prefer depending your use case. You can actually configure the network inside your Kubernetes cluster between the pods and between the nodes. For example, Ingress controller is very convenient to route your HTTP request. So you can have different services inside the same cluster. And then you can deploy as well with Helm. Helm is actually a programmatic language to describe an app. So if you want to deploy a complex app or something somebody else has done, you can deploy it with a Helm chart. We have at Scaleway, for example, a catalog of Helm charts available. For example, you can deploy easily a WordPress or a GitLab server thanks to that. So that was for the key features. Yeah, I think it was a complete overview. There is many others, but yeah, maybe it's more advanced. Now we will see how you can use these features and this technology in a concrete use case and what are the benefits of it. So for different startups, there is different use case. But the very common one, we can say many startups are doing SaaS, but it provides a distributed system based on microservices. Many people use these microservices, and when you run it with Kubernetes, you're able to scale up and down, and depending on the demand of your service. The more people use your SaaS application, automatically Kubernetes will spawn new pods on new nodes if needed. IoT is also a use case because if you have an IoT fleet, it can provide you many data if it's connected with your infrastructure. And if you need to scale up and down depending on the timing of your IoT fleet, maybe all your IoT running at the same moment, and you need to absorb all this data and treat it to see if there is any trouble among your IoT. Using Kubernetes infrastructure is a good idea because you will absorb the charge very well and scale down when there is no action anymore. E-commerce boutique, it's a very common use case. You have a sales event, you have a Black Friday, for example, a Christmas event. You want to sell many stuff with your boutique, with your e-commerce store. Yeah, you have Kubernetes will scale up your boutique, your store, and you'll be able to be sure you don't miss any sales. So that's very interesting to have this kind of infrastructure. Machine learning services, we have some startup at Scaleway, they are doing that. They take advantage of the scheduling. For example, during the day, they gather many data from the usage, and at night, they start a GPU, they train the model again, and at the end of they schedule the results and say what they want to do with that. So that's a good way to use a bit differently Kubernetes environment. And the benefit of that, now I think you have guessed already some of them, some of the advantages, but you can scale your business. Scale your business is in different way. You can scale your team. I mean, you have a team, some developers, you cannot hire as many people as you want, as you scale in terms of charge. But doing Kubernetes, your infrastructure will scale, and Kubernetes will scale for you, but your team can stay the same, can remain the same. You can scale as well your feature set. You can have an application with more and more features on it, and Kubernetes will help you to have more and more features and be able to run them without trouble. And you can scale so your business workload, have more and more clients, and Kubernetes will help you to provide the best services ever among the time. You can build as well a redundant application, rely on several nodes, on several pods, apply all the time the 3 rules, always have 3 instances or 3 pods to provide your services. So if anything fails, you are able to still provide your services, and it will increase your resiliency. On auto-healing, the automation of detecting a failing pod is very convenient for that. You can control the cost as well, because you define a state at the lowest level, and you can put a limit on the highest level. So you sure you don't go too high in terms of usage of compute resource. And you pay only what you need. So if you don't need to pay a server and it doesn't run anything, just by chance, if anyone is scaling or anyone coming to your service at that moment and you haven't be ready. And finally, it accelerates your go-to-market because you can implement CI/CD, and you can deliver faster new features, accelerate the way the way you you deploy new things to your application. And I think I would like to add as well a fifth point. It's a tech where you have support. Many people are doing Kubernetes right now. You can go on internet, you can have a consultant, and you can have always some friends. They know maybe a bit more than you about Kubernetes, and they can help you. So it wasn't true a few years ago, but now there is more and more people who can help you with Kubernetes. And at Scaleway, we have this kind of person. But there is also things to take care. That's a gentle warning. Maybe not go to Kubernetes right now, like straight away. There is complexity. It's a complex technology. You need to be ready for that. There is an entry cost in terms of money, of course, some resources, but in terms of time and working focus. And as a startup, it's important because the time you learn Kubernetes, if you start from zero, is the time you don't focus on something else. And maybe you have something else to do at that time. I don't know, every situation is different. But at that time, maybe your working focus shouldn't be on Kubernetes. Or you need to ask you the question. Just keep it in mind. Huh? It's just to keep this information in there. And don't over-engineer, that's related. Because if you want to kill mosquitoes with a bazooka, you can, but it's not very efficient. So Kubernetes is not the answer to everything. Sometimes there is a very simple way to do things, and it's not all the time Kubernetes, even if it's very convenient. And the learning curve is important as well. It takes time to walk through all the technology. It's quite complex, I mentioned. It's evolving as well. Each few months, each 3-4 months, you have a new version, so you need to keep to be up to date. And they could have some security changes if you don't master the things properly. When you have these things in mind, and you know why you go on Kubernetes and why it applies very well, it suits very well your case, your use case, go ahead. It's for you. You know why, and you know why you shouldn't. So that's okay. And you know the good things about Kubernetes. Now at Scaleway. At Scaleway, we are a cloud provider, an European one, and we have a complete Kubernetes environment. We have other things, of course, but about Kubernetes stack. We have our manage capsule, manage Kubernetes capsule. That's a simple way to do Kubernetes at Scaleway. We have a Kubernetes Cosmos. It's a control plane at Scaleway, but you can deploy wherever you want. It could be at Scaleway on a bare metal, but it's Scaleway. It could be as well on-premise, on your own server at home if you have at home, on IoT. Some people are doing that with IoT service. Could be as well other cloud provider. We have our own container registry, public or private, to store your container image. And we have a serverless container. That's very useful if you feel you don't need all the configuration inside Kubernetes. So you just want to run the container and you don't want to do the configuration. Just go serverless container. That's new stuff at Scaleway. It has 1 year old, maybe a bit more right now. But it's a very good thing we have. We have some add-ons. So as mentioned, we have a M-chart library. You can deploy application just in a few clicks. On a dedicated control plane, if you feel you're going to scale very hard, you can go from mutualized control plane to dedicated control plane. That's an offer for people who really need some performance. Among our projects for Capsule, for example, we have VPC, the ability to secure your pods and nodes inside a private network. Cockpit for all the products, it's an observability tool, so you're able to see all the metrics you need to have to run your Kubernetes properly. And a secret manager, which is basically a vault. Maybe it's a well-known tool. And why doing that at Scaleway? We have a full ecosystem around Kubernetes. We can provide all the different components I showed previously, the load balancer, the block storage, managed database, the object storage, I already said, all the things you need to have a good architecture, but even beyond Kubernetes. We have an affordable and predictive pricing model cost. You know what you are paying for. It's quite simple and it's not overwhelmed. As an European cloud, we are GDPR compliant. We have only our data center among the European continent, in France, in Netherlands, and in Poland. Another thing is we have another user-friendly console. Many developers tell me that's the only cloud console they use because they love the way it's easy to use. And we have no lock-in. We build on a reversible cloud, meaning like if you want to use another cloud beside Scaleway, we open the gate. We don't do any things like to block you to do that. So that's the good things about doing Kubernetes at scale. If you want to go one step beyond with this technology, with Kubernetes, you have a great documentation at Scaleway. We have some quick start tutorial for newcomers, some advanced tutorial as well, if you want to deploy some stuff a bit more advanced. Many blog posts about Kubernetes, and many videos as well. There is many chances that this replay would be on YouTube. I'm not in charge of that, but we used to do that a lot. So if you go on our YouTube channel, you will find already some other meetup or webinar about Kubernetes on the technology. We currently building a community around Kubernetes, so that's a good stuff. We have a Slack channel with a Chan Kubernetes, and many people are asking questions and they help each other. So if you want to be part of that, we'd be very happy to have you. And if you feel like you can help some other people, if you have some troubles with Kubernetes, feel free to ask. It's very open and a gentle community. Everybody is very friendly. We are doing a KubeTalks event every end of the month. We do a Kubernetes event. So this month is next Thursday, the 27th. We talk about KAOPS, which is an open source distribution of Kubernetes. And we'll talk about Terraform. Somebody has done a small plugin to make it easier to deploy with Terraform with Kubernetes. So he will present that. We'll share you the link to subscribe. We are building right now a Kubernetes newsletter behind the lamp. So that's for you to have all the news about Kubernetes, like the good things, the good things we have seen in our team, like that's a good event to go. There is many news about Kubernetes we'd like to share in this specific newsletter. And we're doing a referral program. If you want to start Kubernetes and you have some friends they want to use it as well, you can earn some money as a referee, and they can earn some money, some free credit as well. So that's interesting too. That's the end for me. I hope it wasn't so low level. You spent a good time. I'm able to answer some questions if you have some. I don't know. I haven't checked the chat right now.
First, yes. So first, thank you for your presentation. Thank you also, Joanna, to introduce our program. Thank you for the praise. Now it's time for questions. So if you have any question, please can you maybe ask the question, because I see some question on the chat. If you can send it on the question tab, it will be easier for us. And if you want, now it's our new settings about the masterclass. If you want directly to come on stage to ask your question, you can. I will invite you, and if you want, I think it's better for the. So maybe you have a question about Bobby. If you want, if Alex, you will share the slide after the presentation, if it's possible or not.
Yes, it's totally doable. Maybe you can contact me on LinkedIn, or Alexander Gestat is my name, or I don't know. Do you have the email address? I think you subscribed with the email address. Huh? Is that
yes.
Right? So
yes. So okay, so perfect. Also, we have
recommendation. So we have. Would you have a recommendation when it makes sense to implement it in terms of team size? Let's say we have got a small team, 3 senior tech lads with no real pre-experience in Kubernetes to absorb the complexity and use case. I think it's something to take into account. To say you are only 3, but you are senior, so it means you will learn supposedly a bit faster. It depends. I think the first question to say is, what is my use case and why I need it? Because sometimes it's complex, okay, but the advantages of the technology, in fact, the auto-scaling and auto-healing and orchestration will bring so much more than just spend maybe 2, 3, 4 months on it to have the first result. So it is good to invest. I cannot answer right away like that, but I would take first my use case, like what it is, what it could bring me to have this ability of automation, and if it's just win-win and plus win-win, I will take the time to learn. And there is some step as well to just start with a small cluster, see if it like with a POC, we usually do like that with a proof of concept. What can I add? It's maybe a question. We cannot answer right away in a webinar.
Thank you. Just for you, Bobby, and for everyone, you will. We can send you the slide. I have the validation. We can send you the slide after the presentation. No problem. So, Pierre, Yanazum, thank you also for the answer.
And we have other slide. If you want to have some information about the event next week, just as I mentioned, our Cube Talk, that's the QR code. And I seen this question, so I will. If you want to sign up to the newsletter, is this new QR code? If you want to have one or not one another. Okay, I see the Scaleway team is very efficient.
Yes, you have all the link here to apply. No problem. It will be with pleasure. So just a reminder, I was part of our newsletter about Kubernetes for our Kube Talks next week. And if you want to join the program, the link is available for you. So maybe, I don't know if we have any more question. We can wait a little bit if you want, Alexandre, to add something. Maybe the end, last word, maybe.
Last word. Was very happy to do that. I hope it was a good knowledge
Yes.
for you. I think just a great thank you to to welcome me and to have your attention for this 30 minutes today.
So thank you very much. Thank you everyone to be here for this masterclass. Thank you, Victor, Bastien, Pierre. Thank you. It was very great. For the startups which are in our program, we can see you next month about a new masterclass. And I wish you a very great day. Thank you, Alexandre, again. And I will close this webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.